What if superpowers were real and everyone had a different one to use to help humanity? You know, kind of like the Justice League. Each hero has their own unique ability, but together they save the world. Well, unlike comic books and fiction, I'm here to tell you something very interesting. In God's kingdom, there's something called spiritual gifts, and they're not comic book powers, they're real, and Jesus himself showed us how they work. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 11, Paul lists 9 gifts of the Spirit, and Jesus had the Spirit without measure, so he demonstrated them. The first one is wisdom. In the Gospels, when a woman was dragged before Jesus accused of adultery, the crowd demanded that she be stoned. It was a trap to destroy him, but Jesus answered with divine wisdom, and that's why he said, "Let the one without sin cast the first stone," and one by one they dropped their rocks and walked away. That's wisdom that saves a life and exposes hypocrisy. And then there's the gift of knowledge. Jesus met a Samaritan woman at a well and told her her entire life story, every relationship, every detail, and she ran to tell the whole town. And then there's the gift of faith. Jesus spoke to storms and they obeyed, Mark chapter 4. He walked on water in the middle of raging waves, Matthew chapter 14. He said even mountains will move if you believe. And then there's the gift of healing. Blind eyes opened, lepers were cleansed, Luke chapter 17. A paralyzed man picked up his bed and walked. Then there's the guy with the withered hand, stretched out whole in front of a crowd and healed, Matthew chapter 12. A boy tormented by seizures. Then Jesus set him free, rebuked the spirit behind it, Mark chapter 9. Then there's the gift of miracles, where he raised Lazarus from the dead 4 days after being in a tomb. He turns water into wine at a wedding. He multiplies bread and fish to feed thousands. He even told Peter to find tax money in the mouth of a random fish, Matthew chapter 17. And then there's the gift of prophecy. He told Peter that before the rooster crowed, Peter would deny him 3 times, Luke chapter 22. He foretold his own death and resurrection, Mark chapter 8. And then he also prophesied the temple's destruction decades before it happened. And then there's discernment of spirits, where Jesus recognized demons tormenting people, cast them out, and set people free, Mark chapter 9. He even identified Satan's influence behind Peter's words when Peter tried to stop him from going to the cross, Matthew chapter 16. Then there's the gift of tongues, which he promised his followers would speak in new languages by the Spirit, Mark chapter 16. Interpretation of tongues. He also said that the Spirit would guide believers into all truth. But here's the point. Jesus had the full measure of the Spirit, but for us, the Spirit distributes these gifts individually as he wills. And everyone who believes in Jesus can receive them. But here's the most important thing. They're always used in love, and they are given to profit all, not to make us look powerful, but to build up others in God's kingdom. The question is, how will you steward the gift to help advance God's kingdom and show God's love? Blessings.